Welcome back to another episode of Free the Plant, Free the People, presented by BluRok Farms. You know, I'm your host, LeVar Edie, and I'm thrilled to take you on a journey through the world of cannabis consumption and product review today. So, as the title suggests, we're going to review some cannabis products, but we're also going to take you through the different options of consumption. So, like I said, in this episode, we'll be exploring the diverse ways people enjoy cannabis in the various components, through the classic smoking down to the more modern vaping, as well as edibles and more. So please watch and listen and let us know what you think about these products. Let us know if there's any products we should review that we haven't reviewed so far. And let's dive in. And if you got a joint, you got a vape, light up and smoke. So let's first talk about the classic duo, smoking and vaping. Whether you're using a joint or a joint enthusiast like I am, I love joints. I just feel like you get a great flavor profile with it. You can really get the terpenes expressed very well through it without it being compromised, as well as you get a clean, more enjoyable smoke for me. Also, we're going to be talking about the convenience of vape pens. Both methods give you a different and unique experience, but it's all up to your preference. So let's talk about vaping for a little bit. Vaping is more gentler on your lungs because the combustible component of it tends to be cooler once it reaches your lungs. Where joints, again, you're lighting it with some sort of combustible component, a lighter, if you're using hemp rope, but still it's being combusted with a flame, and then that is what is lighting the joint or the blunt or a hemp wrap. All of these are in the same realm. Like I said earlier in the episode, I like joints because, again, with clean joints, you get a nice clear smoke. And you can really express those flavor profiles. And the same thing with vaping. You get a nice expression of the terpenes. Now, for me, the downside to certain types of vapes and cartridges is that they add additional terpenes in. Some use botanical terpenes, some use synthetic terpenes, and some are reaccumulating cannabis terpenes back into the rosin, whatever, or shatter batter wax that they're having putting the terpenes back into. So I'm more of a natural enthusiast. I like more, let me experience what the plant has produced. I don't want any add-ons. So that's why I prefer joints or live resin when I'm vaping. So those are the two, my personal preferences when it comes to that, as well as with vaporizing. One of the benefits of that is a lot of them nowadays have settings. Like this particular model that I have here, it's a C-cell battery. I'm not going to promote the company because they didn't pay me, but you can get it. And it has the option of different lighting settings. As you can see, it kind of light up. There's one, there's two, there's three. So it's low, medium, high kind of temperature settings so that you can determine which is best for you to give you the best experience. I keep mine really on the low, and I barely go to the medium setting depending on, again, if I'm using live rosin or live resin. So that's just me personally, because I do like a more experienced terpene levels. Because the higher the temperature is going to combust those terpenes so that if they're burning before they get to you, you're not going to taste it. So that's the reason why I prefer low vape temperatures. With this, though, I do want to go into a section that's still within this realm of combusting or smoking the flower. And something that I just recently found out is these freezer pipes. It's basically your traditional pipe, and they do have different bongs as well, but it's your traditional pipe, and it has a fluid in it or a substance in it that allows it to hold very, very cold temperatures for extremely long periods of time, so that you can expand on the quality of your smoking experience. So you pack the bowl like you would normally a traditional pipe, and you light it up and you just inhale like you normally would. The difference is these coils that are wrapping around the chamber that the air flows through is so cold that it's instantly cooling that smoke before it hits your lungs and your mouth, so that you can get a more enjoyable and pleasurable experience. A lot of the issues that come with smoking in general, health issues, are usually related to the high temperatures that's doing damage on your lungs. Again, I'm not talking about tobacco, I'm talking about specifically with cannabis. Um, Most of that is the result of, again, the high temperatures hitting your lungs. Um, there are other components that can do damage, but is really the majority of it is the high temperatures. Now with tobacco, that's a different story. There's the nicotines and all the other synthetic things that they add to it in cigarettes that do cause damage to your lungs and your body. But I'm talking again specifically about cannabis. So those are other smokable devices that you can use, as well as they do have different vaporizing pens outside of like this, where you have to use like live rosin, where there's companies like Pax, I think it's Diablo. No, I'm sorry, not Diablo. Da Vinci, pardon me, are the two popular ones that I know about and that I have personally experienced, or volcanoes. It looks like a volcano. It fills up those big bags, and then you smoke it that way as well. Those are all different ways that you can consume cannabis through combustion, in essence, because all of those are heating up the flower to the point to get the smoke to allow you to consume it. So that's one of the ways that you can consume cannabis, and that is my preferred method. I have done edibles, I have done every aspect of consumption, but smoking a joint is my preferred method. I'm a flower guy. I like really touching the flower, breaking it down, putting it in the joint. So that's why it's my preferred method. But again, let us know what's your preferred method. Let us know if you ever tried the freezer pipes. I haven't. I have one. I just ordered it. It should be here next week. So maybe on another podcast, I'll review that and let you know how the experience was for me. So now I want to talk to the second point of today, and that is going to be about the wonderful world of the magical edibles. A lot of people might have experienced edibles before and had a very, very either excellent experience or a very negative experience. And the reason for that is, unlike with smoking or vaping, edibles take longer for the body to digest it, for it to be broken down and then entered into your bloodstream to feel the effects of the edibles. So with that, a lot of newer edible people that aren't aware of that aspect of it tend to eat a lot of edibles because they don't feel the effect, and then they get really high, and it lasts longer for a longer period of time because, again, it's breaking down slowly into your bloodstream. So as it's breaking down, you're feeling the effect, and it's continuously breaking down. Just like when you eat food. When you eat food, automatically, like if you ate an apple right now, and apples tend to digest very slowly. So you eat an apple in the morning. It literally takes about 24 hours for you to really digest that completely. So think about that in the respects of cannabis. Is breaking down slowly, and each of those components and molecules are entering your bloodstream, and so you're feeling the effects. And so it's slowly dissolving and entering your bloodstream, and you're feeling that effect over time. That effect can last about 3 to 4 hours, depending on the dosage of the edible, and usually takes about 30 to 45 minutes to take effect for the onset of that, for that onset to feel the effect of the cannabis, or the THC particularly. So it can be an enjoyable experience if you are properly dosing, as well as understanding how it affects your body. So I would be cautious in regards of taking edibles. Make sure you take small amounts. Wait 30 to 45 minutes before you decide to take another one or another piece. Again, be cautious of it, but again, enjoy it. I didn't like edibles very much in the beginning because really, edibles has made a very wonderful transition in its growth, its evolution. It started out everything tasted like weed. It didn't taste good. It didn't have a good effect. It was just about getting high. Now with chefs, bakers, pastry chefs getting involved in the cannabis scene are really elevating these edibles and giving very, very good tasting snacks and treats and even dinners to but really understanding the effects so that you have a pleasurable experience. So those are things that to keep in mind when you're thinking about taking on edibles. I do want to talk about another component that is something that's very new in the edible game, and that's more fast-acting edibles. So fast-acting edibles is basically you eat candy bar, cookie, lollipop, whatever it is, and normally, like I said earlier, it takes about 30 to 45 minutes to take effect. Well, with these fast-acting edibles, it takes about 5 to 15 minutes, similar to like if you were smoking a joint, so that you can be able to more accurately assess your highness by eating edible. Because you don't want, I've heard stories about people saying, well, I wanted to eat this edible before I watched this movie, and then I ate it right before the movie. By the time the movie was over, I didn't even feel it, and then I started to feel it, and I needed to go somewhere. So, with these fast acting edibles, it gives you the ability to kind of taper and wean and determine when you want to feel those explosive levels of highness, or ease your way into escalating your level, your experience. The way these fast-acting edibles work specifically is nanoemulsion or nanoparticles. Basically, these edibles, or these designers of these edibles, these fast-acting edibles, have figured a way to break down THC into very, very small components and encapsulate them in water-soluble components or molecules. Because we know THC is a fat-soluble molecule where, and we know if you mix oil and water, it doesn't mix. That's the same instance. That's why it takes so long for it to break down in your stomach. But if it's water soluble, it can enter your bloodstream faster, allowing, which gives you the fast acting edible. So that's really the kind of science behind it. And the other major component or important component to think about this is for those people that have issues with their liver and detoxifying, things of that nature. This fast-acting nanoparticles can bypass the liver by entering directly into the bloodstream, so that if you have some compromised liver conditions, that might be a route to go about. So that's just something to think about in regards to edibles, which we all love and we all share. So now we want to talk about part three, and this we're going to talk about tinctures specifically. So tinctures are basically well, let's go back a little bit. Let's go back into the history of cannabis, and one of the things that really exploded cannabis into the medical aspect was Rick Simpson oil. And Rick Simpson oil is an oil that was created by, of course, Rick Simpson, that basically extracts the components of cannabis into an alcohol or a extractable liquid, and then you can place it under your tongue, drops under your tongue, and you get a faster acting um, effect. It has a lot of medicinal components to it. So that's kind of, I believe, in essence, is what kind of started to gear people into thinking about cannabis outside of the historical, like in Chinese culture, them using it as medicine, and same thing in Indian culture as well, of using that as medicinal purposes. Uh, it kind of got away from that, and it was more pushed in for the effects of getting high. And I think that kind of brought it back of, oh, it does have these medicinal purposes, and this is a way that people can do it to get those medicinal benefits. So, what that's basically, I would consider that the first mainstream tincture. And so, how you make a tincture is you take a determinate amount of cannabis, that's flower in its flower form, and you decarboxylate it. Well, some people decarboxylate it, some people don't. That's really up to you. I think it's better to decarboxylate it so that you get more of those um, cannabinoids out of the cannabis and into the oils, but you don't have to. So you can either decarboxylate it or not decarboxylate it. That's basically heating it up slowly for a period of time. And then you place that into an alcohol, or, yeah, usually alcohol. And then you let that sit in a, for home people, you put it in a mason jar, put the lid on tight, let it sit in there, and basically the alcohol is going to pull out all of the cannabinoids, all of the medicinal properties, and and then you strain that, and that is the tincture. You place that under your tongue, like 1 or 2 drops, or whatever the dosage you feel like you need, and then in a couple of minutes, usually in some cases, depending on how potent it is, a couple of seconds, you start to feel some effect of that tincture. And then that can be converted and used into being applied into lotions, creams, salves, by mixing that with whatever components you're going to be using. For some people, shea butter, cocoa butter. Um, what's another one? Yeah, those are the two main ones I can think of off the top of my head. So that is that's tinctures. That's another way to enjoy and ingest it. And then with the tinctures, you can mix that with drinks. Some people is the basis for syrups. Um, um, so yeah, that's different. Just another way that you can consume cannabis that's not either through combustion, smoking, vaping, or edibles, which is putting it into a form to be necessarily eaten. So that's another way that you can consume. Now I want to talk about a little bit and go into product review. So I live here in New Mexico, and of course we want to highlight and exemplify BIPOC and women-owned dispensaries, companies, cultivators, because that is what the mission of this podcast is, and that's my mission as a black cultivator, is to highlight and to try to help as many people that look like me, that look like disenfranchised people, to make it in this industry and to elevate their status. So we're going to talk about flowers first. The flower that I want to talk about is Gary Payton. It is a flower that, of course, is from the Bay Area. It was the true lineage is from it's part of the Cookies line, and the reason why I bring it up is that's one of the best flowers that I've had here in New Mexico at a dispensary. It's from Urban Oasis, and that's here in New Mexico. You can look them up and get more information about them if you like. It is black owned. Dr. Nia Harris is the owner of the business. So that is one of the flowers that I've experienced that I felt was properly grown, from what I can tell by my consumption of it, properly cured, properly harvested. It wasn't dry. It had a nice bounce back, rebound that we've talked about in previous episodes. So it felt like it was properly dried and cured and presented at the right time. It was frosty. It had a nice color to it. I really don't necessarily care about color myself personally, because it doesn't add to the effect or your experience as consuming it, but it does look pretty. And I think they did a really good job on it. So that is one that I would highlight and put forth and put out there because of the strong flavor profile that it did have. It did have a nice smell when I broke it. When I bought it, it had a nice smell when I broke it down, and it did have a nice smell and taste when I was consuming it. It wasn't as strong as the Gary Payton that I've had when I was in the Bay Area, but it was a good and true substitute that I tasted out here. Now I want to talk about concentrates. I had this particular concentrate from Mountain Extracts, or Mountain Top Extracts. I think they're one of the leaders in extraction. Their marketing is on point. They're very good at marketing and providing information that's deliverable and digestible for consumers, I believe. So I would definitely check them out. Again, they didn't pay me. They should, but they have really good live resin carts that I've experienced. And this one was particularly Oreos. Oh, it looks like it's leaking. Yeah, particularly Oreos that I enjoyed. So that's one that I would recommend. And then let's move on to CBD products, because that is part of the cannabis family. The CBD product that I would recommend is Herbal Bath Sessions and Salts. It is a health and beauty line that infuses bath bombs, bath salts, candles, and more. You can definitely check them out. Go to their Instagram, Herbal Bath Sessions and Salts, on Instagram, and definitely check them out. If you go to our page, BluRok Farms, you can find them as well, because we definitely follow them. You should definitely check them out. Some of our CBD is used for their company, for their products. So again, I know how it was grown, so I know that it's very good quality CBD that's been grown ethically, as well as keeping the environment in mind. We don't use any artificial anything really because we want to keep it as natural and healthy for our patients and our consumers. So definitely check that out. The bath bomb, the one that I really enjoy is the lemongrass one, because especially in the morning, I just feel like it wakes me up and it rejuvenates me. So I would definitely suggest that, and it's really great. I like the lavender one as well after I work out, because it's just really relaxing and you get a nice relaxing feel because of the CBD seeping into your skin, um, and you feeling the effects. So those are the things that I wanted to talk about today. Those three different products: the flower, the Gary Payne from Urban Oasis, the concentrate from Mountaintop Extracts. They are not a black BIPOC or woman-owned company, but they are very well, I believe, well respected, and I think their values in the way that they are delivering their products and the consideration that I feel that they put to the presentation as well as the quality of their products is why I talked about them today. Again, nobody's paying me for any of these reviews. These are just because these are products I like and I enjoy. Also, remember to definitely check out Herbal Bath Sashes and Salts. Again, that's Herbal Bath Sashes and Salts on Instagram, Facebook, as well. And yeah, so definitely check them out. Order some products from them as well. The lavender bath bomb is pretty amazing, like I said, and the lemongrass one as well. And that is what we have today. I would love for you guys to tell me what strains you're enjoying, where'd you get them at, what dispensaries, as well as continue to follow us, BluRok Farms on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Check out our website. And again, it's been a pleasure. And remember, always consume responsibly. If you are going to be using edibles, be mindful of the dosage and the time. And always make sure that you're in a safe environment and that you know where you're getting your product from. Because some of these things are laced with things that they shouldn't be if you're not getting it from a reputable dispensary, because they're not testing it if it's on the street. I'm not saying not to do that. I'm just saying just be cautious and be mindful. So again, thank you for joining us through another episode of Free the Plant, Free the People. I am LeVar Eady, the host, and this is presented by BluRok Farms. Until next time, stay curious and keep your spirits high. We out.